2 Timothy chapter 1. To be a Christian is to have a very strong personal relationship with Jesus. It is to know that the Son of God loved me and gave himself for me. That relationship, that friendship, is so strong that it is independent of membership of a church or denomination. It's like any good and real relationship. It doesn't depend upon the status of our relationship with anybody else. We're not baptized into a church or into any human group. If we perceived it like that, then we're likely to be disappointed and fall away. Because in any human relationship, in any connection with any human group, things go wrong or not as we think they should go. I think this is why many people fall away after their baptism, because effectively they were baptized not so much into Jesus personally, but into a group of people. When things went wrong with that group, then they turned away from Christianity. But that was because they didn't make that deep personal connection with Jesus. Paul made that personal connection with Jesus. And so here in 2 Timothy 1, we read his last words as he faced his death. He often laments that his Christian brothers have rejected him. And he says, all that are in Asia turned away from me. In chapter 4 of 2 Timothy, he says the same in some of his very last words. Demas forsook me, having loved this present world, went to Thessalonica, Crescens to Galatia, Titus to Dalmatia. Only Luke is with me. And my first defence, no man stood with me. No Christians turned up at his trial. But all forsook me. May it not be held against them. To be a Christian, then, is not necessarily to be surrounded by loving, helpful fellow Christians. If that's your experience at the moment, then that's wonderful. And that is how it should be. But what it is to be a Christian is to know Jesus, to have a relationship with him that is so real and is so strong that it does not matter whether or not other Christians stand with you or not. But although all the believers in Asia turned away from Paul, he says, later we read letters from Jesus to the believers in Asia. He commends some of them as being truly his brothers and sisters. So clearly some of those who turned away from Paul personally, Jesus still regarded as his brothers and sisters. They hadn't turned away from Jesus, and that's important to remember, that we may have personal disagreements with other believers, but that is not to say that they are not saved. It's one of the sad features of human experience that we have to live with in this world, that people do turn away from us, and we maybe turn away from them, but our relationship with Jesus is of the essence.